Hello everyone, it's Ali Financial Sensei here. Have you ever thought that if you're unable to work, what would happen? Let's think about several scenarios that can happen to anybody. Cancer is very common. If you get into a car accident and you end up on a wheelchair, uh, what would happen in all these cases? The bills are still, coming, so you still have to pay for the mortgage or rent or whatever it is, but the income is not there anymore. Just imagine, even if you cannot work for a year or two, I'm not talking about you get disabled, you end up on a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Just think that you cannot work for a year or two. What would happen to your life? What is the solution? The solution has been around for decades, and it's called disability insurance. Now, when we talk about disability, for some reason, people think that there are a lot of resources in case people get disabled from government or different organizations, and we're going to talk about them here. So the first one is, okay, fine, if I get disabled at work, there is workers' compensation board benefit or WorkSafe BC, or I know you guys are gonna watch this video in other provinces. So there would be some kind of similar benefit in case something happens at work that you would be protected. Here is the problem. That only pays if something, an incident or an accident happens at work. What if something happens outside of work? What if an illness happens to you? The Workers' Compensation Board, WorkSafe, whatever you call it in your province, is not going to cover you for that. So I'm going to put a question mark. I'm not going to cross the WorkSafe benefit, because in some cases it may be helpful, but in many cases not. We have employment insurance that of it if you get laid off, that it's going to pay you some money. There is a disability insurance benefit with EI, but it's only for 15 weeks and it's not a high amount. This amount basically changes, but especially if you're a high income person, that amount is next to zero for you. So I'm just going to put a question mark here as well. Now, CPP, Canada Pension Plan, yes, it does have a disability benefit as well. The definition of disability that you need to have to be able to be eligible for getting a CPP is severe and prolonged disability, which in a way means that there is no hope that you're ever going to recover. So for a lot of people, that's not going to be beneficial either. Next one is group disability insurance. Now, listen guys, if you do have extended healthcare and dental benefits from your employer, through your employer, especially if it's a small business, it doesn't necessarily mean that you do have disability insurance as well from work. Again, especially if it's a small business, because disability insurance is kind of costly benefit. So you may not even have you may think you have disability insurance, but you may not. Even if you do have disability insurance for work, if you work for a mid-size or a big-size company, there are limitations to group disability insurance. I can almost tell you confidently, with group disability insurance through your work, the disability insurance only pays after 2 years. They're only going to pay that if you cannot work, do any reasonable or any occupation. So imagine if you're a dentist, or imagine if you're an engineer, or you're a tradesperson, you have some specialty, that's not going to be very helpful to you. So I don't know if you want to, if you're an engineer, After 2 years, you want to have a disability insurance that say, okay, you can go flip burgers, just go do it. You're not considered disabled anymore. So the solution is your own disability insurance policy that is going to pay you if you cannot do your own regular occupation. You would be considered disabled if you cannot work as an engineer or as a dentist or whatever you do. Okay, so with disability insurance, just like any other insurance, the major factors in terms of price are your age, your gender, smoking status, and on top of all of those is the type of work you do and how risky it is. Okay, so if your work is like very physically demanding, um, you're gonna have more risk than somebody who is working at the computer sitting in the office. If you work at the construction site, your risk is different from like work at the computer, for example. So there are other factors that would determine your premium. One of them is the waiting period. Waiting period is basically, let's say, for example, if we say your policy has a 90-day waiting period, by the way, you can choose that waiting period for yourself. The shorter the waiting period, the higher your premium is going to be. So if you have a waiting period of 90 days, that means your insurance policy is going to kick in paying you after 90 days. The benefit amount is going to be determined by your income because let's keep in mind, disability insurance is basically replacing your income. And the benefit period means how long your disability insurance is going to pay for you. Is it going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or until age 65? So from all the companies out there, not many companies offer disability insurance. And between those companies that do offer disability insurance, I really have to give you a heads up, guys. The contracts and the products can be very different from each other. Okay, to give you an example, there are disability insurance products that cover only injury. They don't cover illness, right? And also, what is the definition of disability? Are they going to do like regular occupation? Are they going to do own occupation? How long is that definition last? How long does that definition last in your policy? So there are so many details when it comes to disability insurance. So it's very, very important that you deal with somebody who knows about all these differences. Back in 2012, I got a designation called Certified Health Insurance Specialist, which I spent almost a year learning in details about what we call living benefits, the details of disability insurance, group insurance, long-term care, and critical illness insurance. And I have helped quite a few people getting a policy which would give them peace of mind. They know exactly what they have, and you're protected if something happens to them. So I'd be more than happy to help you as well to pick the right product which is going to fit your budget. If you want to get in touch with me, my phone number is 604-999-1356, and my website address is westlifefinancial.ca. I hope you like this video, and I will be with you with other videos in the future as well.